here today to celebrate some of the incredible work happening across the city to bring a community-wide effort to improve post-secondary access for Denver students. You know, more than a year ago, the Denver Education Compact submitted a grant application to the Ford Foundation to help us boost our own college readiness efforts. These funds help to ignite a fantastic community-led initiative called Corridors of College Success. Corridors to College Success is focused on increasing the number of students from Southwest Denver, specifically those who attend Lincoln and Kennedy high schools, who are college and career ready. Because of the efforts of the steering committee, this initiative is now moving from the planning phase to implementation. Multiple initiatives across the city are focused on the same goals, including the Denver College Attainment Network, and they're utilizing and relying on the strength of community to get things done. Denver's strength has always been our collaborative effort, and I know those of us who live here and love to call Denver home agree with that. And we're very proud of that collaborative spirit that has caught the attention of the United States U.S. Conference of Mayors and USA Funds. Today, we're proud to announce that USA Funds is presenting the city with a $25,000 grant to help us better align and support the many collective impact initiatives happening across the city. The grant presented today from USA Funds will support the Denver Education Compact and its efforts to ensure students have the opportunity to get to and through post-secondary education programs and lead to career pathways. And we also have with us today several organizations who know what it takes, or that it takes a community to get this done, and will stand in support of the work that we are doing. Today, you will hear from DPS Superintendent Tom Boasberg, Denver CAN Director Curtis Escabel, and Senior Director of Philanthropy and National Engagement of USA Funds, and I'm so glad she's here, Stephanie Nellens-Page, and all the partners in this collective work. And of course, I want to recognize the incomparable Megan Cardiff, Program Director for Workforce and Education at the U.S. Conference of Mayors. Where is Megan? Where are you? Oh, I know I hadn't seen you since I walked in the room. And I was so glad to hear you were going to be here today. Who provide us with the opportunity to partner with USA Funds. But before we hear from our partners, I'm excited to introduce to you a young man who truly represents the ideas and concepts we're celebrating today. He graduated from Lincoln High School and is a 2015 graduate. He's a pioneer, y'all. University of Denver, almost said Denver, Colorado. I'm about to start something. University of Denver. He is an amazing young man. Will you all join with me to please welcome here an El Pomar Fellow, Teray Escabel.
How's everybody doing today? Let me just find my notes here. First off, I'd like to say thank you, Mayor Hancock, for the introduction, and thank you, everybody, for having me here today. I'd like to start off by expressing just what honor it is to be here today as a product of Southwest Denver, as an alumnus of Abraham Lincoln High School and of the University of Denver. Since graduating with my bachelor's degree from the Daniels College of Business here at DU, I've been serving as an El Pomar Fellow for their 2-year program down in Colorado Springs. The fellowship includes the opportunity for me to be able to understand the complexities of social change and really allow myself to develop and grow as a leader, which I can then bring back to the city of Denver and my home community in Southwest Denver. Through the lens of my personal and my somewhat limited professional experiences, I've begun to truly reflect deeply about the power of collaboration and its potential impact on really helping the educational pipeline. When I was in high school, I noticed a vast majority of community-based organizations and community college access programs that unfortunately often operated in silos. And depending on the issue or the question that a student would have, one of the challenges that we'd have for them to first off was they had to figure out what questions to ask, and then they had to move on and try to understand who to ask those questions to, right? Who do we direct those questions to, which is a challenge in and of itself. Unfortunately, once they got to that point, these superhuman efforts of these folks in these programs and these organizations, they were often overworked, they were often under-resourced, and really striving every day and grinding their gears to make sure that we were served. I was fortunate enough to have that type of impact and that be able to sit down and find those resources through mentors and through different people helping me along that process. Unfortunately, I also remember the large cup of coffee on their desk, and I also remember the large piles of paper that they had at their desk that truly represented each individual student that was begging to be attended to. I'm really excited for Denver Can and the Corridors for College Success, and just to be a part of this whole effort, for the simple fact that I surely wouldn't be here had it not been for those folks, and I'm glad that we're able to provide the resources necessary in order to serve the vast majority of students in Denver. The last point I want to make is that I really hope to one day, and I think it's the hope of everybody here, is that someday we'll get to a point where people will hear my story and it's not considered a success. I'm really hoping that throughout the state of Colorado, specifically Denver and Southwest Denver, that people speak of my story as a common occurrence, and we could really move forward to really building those expectations and moving our communities forward in a deep and powerful way. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Teray. And what an incredibly powerful example of what today is all about. And what today is all about is how do we all work together to serve the young people of our community, young people of incredible talent and promise, to get the kinds of opportunities, to make sure that they have the kind of opportunities that Teray has had, because when they do, they blossom. And when they blossom, what that means for our city and the future of our community. And I think this, one of my great, really, joys of being superintendent of Denver Public Schools is to be part of a broader community that is all in this together and not only believes in that, but acts that we're all in this together. And that's certainly brought to life by Mayor Hancock's efforts around the Denver Education Compact, but precedes that. If I think of the work that we did as a community together in Denver Preschool Program, it wasn't this should be your responsibility, or this should be your responsibility, or the state should do this, or someone else should do this. It was, no, how do we roll up our sleeves together as a Denver community, working with community providers, working with the Denver Public Schools, working with the city, working with the state, to do what no other community in the state has done, which is to make sure that our youngest children get the absolutely essential opportunities in preschool that is so necessary. And having now built that base, we're now really focusing on how do we make sure we're having the same community collaboration and alignment around making sure that our young people who graduate from the Denver Public Schools have the kinds of post-secondary opportunities that they so strongly desire, and that in which their achievement is so central to our success as a city, both economically and our success as a city civically, as a civic community. And that's what today is all about with the Denver College Achievement Network. This new grant is to exemplify and further promote the collaboration that we have at all levels. And it absolutely starts with our city. And no superintendent in this country has a stronger partner in education than I'm fortunate enough to have in Mayor Hancock. It starts with our higher ed partners who are working with us to provide thousands of concurrent enrollment opportunities for our students while still in high school to get college credit, and are such strong partners with us. It's our community organizations, our extraordinary scholarship organizations. It's our colleges coming together to make sure, for example, that we're supporting, and our state coming together to make sure we're supporting our dreamers. And that started with our state legislation, our state passing. Actually, it started with our university, one of our universities, Metro State, making a very bold statement about this core principle and core belief in our kids. That was then followed by our state and our community coming together to make sure, and one of the key activities that is supported by this grant is that the opportunities for our dreamers to visit college, to get the sense of what college means for them, and to receive the supports to be able to go to college and aspire to those college opportunities which for so long were so distant for our young people. So it's just to look out in the audience today and to see so many of the different threads of our civic fabric come together. And I know how hard each of you out there is working with your needles and your sewing machines to knit that together. Just really want to say a thank you for this grant, but a very deep thank you at all levels to our partners at the city level, at the state level, at our university level, and at the community level who have created these opportunities today and whose collaboration is doing such a wonderful job to create opportunities for kids like Teray and many, many, many more who are following in your footsteps. Thank you all very much. And now let me introduce Curtis Esquivel, the head of UCAN.
So a huge thank you to Superintendent Boasberg. It's an honor to be here in front of everyone to represent the Denver College Attainment Network and to celebrate truly the efforts to increase post-secondary opportunities for our youth in Denver. To give a little bit of background, the Denver College Attainment Network, or Denver CAN, which is our acronym of choice, is really the city's first collective impact effort designed to improve college success outcomes for graduates of Denver public schools. Why collective impact? And why collective action? Well, really, collective impact acknowledges several things: complexity, systems, multiple stakeholders, challenges so large that no one can do it alone, but also that there are no silver bullets. In fact, if we're going to move the needle on post-secondary completion in our city to really meet the workforce needs of today and tomorrow, it's going to take a collective effort. And it's going to take several things that are very, very true and tried to the collective impact framework, which are multiple sectors involved, a long-term and short-term strategic focus, very data-oriented, and also be very much focused on continuous improvement. And when we talk about continuous improvement, we're specifically talking about institutional and organizational policy and practice. So since Denver CAN launched in early 2015, we have more than 25 nonprofit organizations, civic organizations, public agencies, and our partner colleges, which are the 3 Auraria institutions of higher education, and of course, Emily Griffith Technical College. Together, all of those entities share a common agenda to solve the challenge of post-secondary attainment. Our initial focus will be to increase first to second year persistence on the Auraria campus and overall completion at both the Auraria campus institutions and Emily Griffith Technical College. Our action team members, many of who are here in the audience today, it's not the Denver CAN entourage. These are our actual, really the practitioners who work with students or supervise program folks who work to implement programming on campus every day. Those are the folks that are convening, and we are convening typically once a month really to strategically action plan and think of how we can link our resources and organizations and programming together, not to create new programs, but to create alignment and to really move the needle. Okay, so our action teams are focused on several strategies, specifically to increase student participation in summer bridge programs, also high impact practices, which sort of is education speak for a lot of the programs in college that really support student retention and are somewhat research tested, and also give students more exposure to work-based learning opportunities. In addition, our action teams are focused on enhancing early advising practices, and as Superintendent Boasberg said, really focused on a more comprehensive support system for our Dreamer students who do represent one of our most vulnerable populations, even at the higher ed level. So as the governing body of Denver CAN, we have 8 entities, organizations currently, and institutions. who are committed to the beginning of this long-term partnership. And we are funded by philanthropy, and it's going to be apparent upon all of us, including the community, to really engage and realize that this is going to take a collective effort. Okay, so I'm actually going to take the opportunity to ask all of the representatives from each of those entities. I'll call you up here, and I'd like you to come up, and Amy's actually going to hand you a logo, and you're going to just stick it on our charter poster to really acknowledge it both as a symbol and a sign of your commitment. So with that, the first individual that I'm going to call up is certainly and the City and County of Denver has been instrumental in this process. So Mayor Hancock, and also I'm going to ask Aaron Brown and Antonio Perez, who are with the Office of Children's Affairs. So come forward. Okay. Next, we have one of our 3 Auraria partners, the Community College of Denver. I'm going to ask Judy Diaz-Bonaquisti, who, like Aaron and Antonio, also sit on the Denver Can leadership team, along with Dean Ruthann Orihuela, who is the Dean in the Center of Arts and Humanities, and also one of our action team chairs. From Denver Public Schools, Superintendent Boasberg, and Kim Post, who's the Executive Director of the Office of College and Career Readiness. Kim is also, she also helps chair the Denver Can leadership team. Yes, Tom. And from the Denver Scholarship Foundation, Dr. Nate Easley. And my former boss. And from Emily Griffith Technical College, Executive Director Jeff Barrett, and Tisha Corbett, Director of Student Services. Tisha also serves on our leadership team. From Metropolitan State University, President Dr. Steve Jordan, and Mark Potter, the Associate Vice President for Undergraduate Studies. Mark serves on our leadership team. And last but certainly not least, the Honorable Genya Herndon, who isn't even fully back to work yet, but is here today after giving birth to CJ a couple of months ago. So also, Genya serves on our leadership team and is one of our co-chairs along with Kim. And, yeah. And lastly, but certainly not least, we have the Mile High United Way, and we have Christine Bonero, Chief Executive Officer. Christine. And Steve King, I also want to call up, who's our program manager in post-secondary pathways, also chairs one of our action teams. Thank you, Steve. So we want to thank each of you for your partnership to date, and really the commitment to improve post-secondary outcomes for DPS graduates is really upon all of us. And our plan is to grow this leadership team. In particular, you'll notice there's 2 sectors represented here, and we're still looking for a third, and that will happen in time. But thank you for your commitment, and thank you for providing more career pathways for DPS graduates. With the theme of partnership, we have one additional important partner here today. And I'd like to ask Stephanie Nellens-Page to come up here and join us. Stephanie is the Senior Director, you can applaud. Stephanie is the Senior Director of Metro Engagement and Relations for USA Funds. USA Funds provides grants that support city initiatives formed around their guiding principles of completion with a purpose. And having the support of USA Funds really helps to strengthen our partnerships and align our resources. And we do have a really incredible leadership team of the collective impact initiatives in Denver who meet I wouldn't say every month, but we meet very frequently to really talk about our different work, where it's aligned, where it's not, and really talk about some of our common data points that we can align on and really agree to impact as well. So with that, Stephanie, you have a very special presentation, so thanks.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and good afternoon. And I have to say, Mayor Hancock, I'm delighted to represent USA Funds and honored to recognize the great work that you, your administration, and the community, you, Mr. Superintendent, you're doing to promote educational and economic success in Denver. USA Funds is an Indianapolis-based nonprofit organization that has been promoting educational opportunity for the past 55 years. During the past 2 years, USA Funds has shifted its focus to what we call completion with a purpose, promoting high-quality education and training programs, but with a purposeful connection to employment and rewarding careers. What the Denver Education Compact is working to achieve aligns very closely with USA Fund's vision of a better educated, more skilled population of students who are ready to succeed in the jobs that local economy is producing. The ultimate goal is to prepare these students to pursue fulfilling careers so that they are contributing to the economic and social vitality of the community. USA Funds partnered with the U.S. Conference of Mayors last year to recognize mayors and communities that have invested in innovative initiatives to promote college and career readiness. And we love to see models, programs like Denver's adopted across the country. Denver was the first large city with a population greater than 500,000 to receive the U.S. Conference of Mayors USA Funds Pathway with the Purpose Award. There's a modest cash award that goes along with this recognition, and I understand you plan to use the fund to advance this program, and we're very, very much excited about that. So on behalf of the Board of Trustees, management, and staff of USA Funds, I am very much delighted to present to you this check for $25,000. Megan, would you join me? Mr. Mayor, would you join me? Mr. Superintendent? Okay, so I want to actually present this. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I have to say that this, around the country, the mayor knows I'm in a lot of different cities, sometimes 5 and 6 different cities within a week's time. And this issue is very much important to mayors around the country. And I'm often actually referencing Denver as an example of a strategy that they can use. So this is really exemplary work that you're doing. I look forward to following this work and hopefully getting some other communities around this country to adopt what you are doing here to help the economic vitality of cities across this nation, because it's very, very, very much needed. Thank you.
No, you can't cash that. You can actually frame that. I heard a story this last week about a NFL player who took his sign-in bonus, and after a year it hadn't been cashed, so the general manager went to him and said, "Did you cash that check?" He said, "No, I framed it." True story. Listen, this concludes the presentation. That's actually a funny story. You all didn't. That is a funny story. I think you guys sitting there going, "No, that's a tragic story." Let me thank Stephanie Nellens-Page, who has really, truly, and I've watched this, been a champion for Denver across the country and at USA Funds. And at dinner last night, she asked, not once, but on a couple occasions, how can I help more? What else can we do together? And so we look forward to an even deeper relationship with USA Funds as we go forward. Let me also thank the Education Compact, as well as our other champions, the Ford Foundation and Denver College Attainment Network. Thank you for your support. T-Ray, thank you very much for being here as well. We look forward to your future, man. You're very impressive. You have a radio voice too, by the way. Use it. And of course, the Denver Public Schools. But I got to tell you, we wouldn't be here without the one who keeps us together, the champion of all, and that's Aaron Brown, our Director of Children Affairs. And I know Aaron will be the first to tell you it's a team effort, and the whole Children's Affairs team and all our consultants are helping us to move this forward. But to all of you, thank you so much for being here. We have a lot more work to do, and so we're your partner in getting it done. It's always about the children, and so if we keep them in mind and keep them at the focal point, we're all going to be okay. God bless you, and thank you for being a part of this.
Denver 8 TV, your city, your source.